Well, welcome everybody to this unusual event for Conscious Cafe Global. It's Sunday morning here in England, and I have to report from Yorkshire it's sunny and snowy, unusual weather. But we've got friends from all over the world here, particularly from Australia. So you'll be there in your evening and whatever time of day when you're watching the recording. We have an event, and it's a psychic and astrology event for animals. How unusual is that on any day of the week? We have Jessica Adams, and this is our fourth event with Jessica, eminent astrologer, author of many books, and she's also co-authoring a book about pets this year. She has brought along two colleagues. One of them is Paul Fenton-Smith. Welcome, Paul. I know that you're in Sydney and you're enjoying the good weather. At least I've got sunshine here in Yorkshire, but you've got Australian weather over there. So let me tell you a little bit about Paul. Paul is a multi-published author. He's done 11 books on personal development. He's a favorite of Oprah Winfrey. He's a palmist and tarot reader. And he also founded in 1985 the Academy of Psychic Studies, because he's very much a champion of the fact that everyone has intuitive abilities, and he's keen on supporting people with that. Maybe he'll tell us about the intuitive abilities of animals, I'm not sure, but he's going to be doing a paw and a palm reading for us. And the second guest that we have, who Jessica has kindly brought along, is Rachel Wells. She's a Sunday Times best-selling author. She's based in Devon. She's a mother, and she's done 4 books for adults and 2 for children about Alfie the doorstep cat. And you may have seen, is it Bob the cat, the movie? You know, there's a whole genre of books really popular now of lovely animals, and she has done some wonderful books on Alfie. And when we come to see Rachel later on, I'll show you a picture of the lovely Instagram with pictures of the famous cat, Lady Alfie. So now I'm going to hand over to Jessica. Before I do, I'm just going to share that we are back and forth with readings and information on astrology for pets, and that's what we're going to start off with. And we'll have a break in the middle, but there'll be an opportunity for you to present your animal's paw. If it's not read today, you can send in, or I can capture a Zoom photo. We can send it in and give you the instructions of how later Jessica can do that reading for you. So nobody will be left out, human or animal. So on International Pet Day, Jessica, I'm going to hand over to you and say welcome. So let's see, where are you?
I'm here. Thanks,
okay,
Gina.
Brilliant. Okay, and I'm just going to pin you so you can be seen. Lovely. All yours, Jessica.
Thanks, Gina. So it looks like we've got people in New York, Sydney, in Devon, in Yorkshire, in London, and we have some furry friends with us who will obviously come and go. Paul said that at least one of the cats will get in the wardrobe. I think that's quite likely. In the wardrobe, perhaps with the dog on top of the wardrobe. As I said, they do say never work with children and animals, so that's why I am going to have a very large glass of wine for tonight's session in Sydney. So I'm going to talk first of all about sun signs for pets, for cats and dogs, and why it does matter, and how cats and dogs express their zodiac sign, because they're very basic little people really. And because the sun rules how you shine and how you glow and how you're prominent, what people notice about you, animals in particular tend to radiate their sun sign very strongly. When you go into a shelter like the RSPCA, the animal, the dog or the cat in the cage will be beaming or radiating their sun sign because they want to be noticed. And you'll be amazed at how often a cat or a dog will get into the photograph with you or into the YouTube. If you're doing a selfie, you'll see a cat or a dog sort of popping up, and they will radiate or emanate their sun sign. So the 12 signs of the cat and the dog zodiac usually expressed through the eyes. So we have an example here. You can see the first cat here, the British blue with short hair with a little white dot on the bib, is very Aries, very direct, you know. Aries cats and dogs say, well, this is me, I am here, I come first. The dogs will push in front of you through the door. So the dog goes first, you go second. And if there's a confrontation, an Aries cat or dog will be right in there. They're tremendously direct. There's no messing about with an Aries dog or cat. I am what I am. They're like Popeye, you know. They can be aggressive in a fight, and they are highly competitive. So if you have an Aries cat or dog in the household and there is another cat or dog or a budgie or a hamster or a guinea pig, then they will compete for affection and for attention, and especially for food. They're wonderful as guard dogs and even guard cats. So if there's anybody in the neighbourhood who shouldn't be around your house or your apartment, the Aries cat or dog will be first to leap to the window to suss them out. Now, the Taurus dog or cat, you can see the second dog there in the picture, has that wonderful sense of possessiveness about toys and food. They're very solid, they're very gentle, they're quite slow moving, but woe betide you if you try to get your paws on their dog ball or their cat toy, or if another animal encroaches on their territory, because Taurus is a sign of territorialism and ownership. They absolutely love Christmas. When you give them a Christmas present, doesn't matter what it is, they absolutely love the fact that you're giving them one, but they will also try to claim other people's presents under the tree. They are the people, the dog people, the cat people, who will rip apart the wrapper of the Toblerone under the tree that's meant for somebody else. And they will have a tremendous sense of hanging on and holding to who or what matters to them most. Now, the Gemini cat or dog, you can see the third cat along has that slightly quizzical look, head on one side. They are tremendous listeners and they do pick up what you say. So Gemini cats and dogs, and particularly the birds, will try to imitate you. And it's amazing, if you've lived with a Gemini cat or dog for a few years, they will develop their bark or their meow to resemble human speech. So you will hear the cats say a kind of a hello, and you will hear the dogs say a kind of hi. And they also, like most Gemini people, respond to the telephone. So when the telephone rings, Gemini's first on the scene. If they could actually have opposable thumbs and pick up the receiver, they would, and take messages for you. The Cancerian dog or cat, you can see the lovely pug along, is really affected by being homeless more than any other creature. So if you have adopted a Cancerian cat or dog and the adoption date is the sun sign date, you might have the birth sign as well, which is uppermost. But if you don't have a birth sign date for an animal, take the adoption date. They are the most affected by not having a family, not having a house or a flat or a basket to call their own. And they love it when they get their own basket or their kennel. And they particularly love having their own chair, their own cushion. They are the natural mothers of the zodiac, so they are affected by being neutered at the vet more than any other of the 12 signs, because it's in their nature to try and nurture and care and protect and tend. But you know, we have to get our dogs and cats fixed a lot of the time. So they might adopt another animal in the household, or they might adopt a younger family member and mother them, and that's how they emanate their Cancerian characteristics. And everything I'm saying is true for humans as well, but dogs and cats express it in a very basic kind of form. So Leo, we can see this tabby cat down here. Now, even the mongrels or the tabbies or the stray dogs and cats born under Leo will behave like a pedigree, because Leo is the sign of the king or the queen of the jungle. Leo is dignified. It has a sense of position, mission, and ambition. Leo the lion is, of course, the royal emblem, and they like a throne. So there will be a chair, which is their chair, and they are tremendous posers. So if you do have a camera ready, it will be Leo who assumes the position. They are tremendous animals if you need some kind of pecking order established. If you have younger cats or dogs, kittens or puppies who need to know who's boss, a Leo cat or dog will move in and take charge for you. Now the Virgo, this is the Virgo dog here, example. They are a little bit like the Gemini cat or dog. They're both ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. And so once again, they're great listeners, and the ears go up and they hear everything. And they are tremendous animals to have if you want an intelligent and thoughtful companion, because they understand what's going on. They read you in meticulous detail, and they're very aware of changes to their routine or to your detail. So this is the dog or the cat who reacts most powerfully if you move house. They can often sense days ahead before you're traveling. It's not the fact that your suitcase is out of the wardrobe. They've actually picked up that you're going to be away for a few days, and they will anticipate and show that. They're also very good at lying on your computer. So if you have a creature draped on your computer at the moment, probably a Virgo, they really want to type. If they could type, they would type. Now Libra, here we have a cat with a really sort of balanced face. And often the Libran cat or dog will have a perfectly symmetrical face with ears, eyes, markings, all beautifully, almost like a butterfly. They tend to have sort of butterfly pattern faces. They are amenable, diplomatic. They like to bond in pairs. So if you bring home the cat or the dog under the sign of Libra, or they're born under the sign of Libra, you will be their partner. You are their husband or wife within the relationship. But if there is another cat or dog, obviously in the household, they will pair bond with that creature. They will actually pair bond with anything. So this is the cat that gets into bed with the pig on the farm. This is the cat that drapes itself all over the rooster. They like to be part of an odd couple. And in fact, many Libran humans are exactly the same. The Scorpio Doggle Cat usually has quite intense eyes. So the eyes or the gaze is penetrating, powerful, and it's deep. They feel like old souls, and they are. They're emotional. Scorpio is a water sign. They're also, dare we say it, highly sexed, okay? So this is the dog who will hump your leg as soon as you enter the premises, in a loving way, of course. It's also the dog or cat who can't relate to mere orders. So you can't just say, sit, stay, and all of that. You have to make it emotional for them. It has to have some sort of emotional purpose for them. They don't like being told what to do unless they can feel it. You know, they're wonderful companions. If you're going through a crisis, if you're going through a very difficult situation in your personal life, Scorpio dog or cat, absolutely with you, will put their head on your shoulder and feel the feelings with you. Now, the Sagittarius cattle dog, you can see this beautiful creature down the bottom, is the explorer. So good luck with trying to keep them at home. They really need to go off in search of new horizons. And you probably shouldn't adopt a Sagittarius cat or dog or purchase one unless you're prepared for that, particularly the dogs, because they need a tremendous amount of space. They love books, okay? So if you have books, Sagittarius cat or dog will lie on the books. If you have a bookshelf, they will get on the bookshelf. They love knowledge exchange like Sagittarian people. So if you've got the Discovery Channel on the television, or you have an Attenborough documentary, it's the Sagittarius dog or cat who will have their nose up to the screen watching the fish. We knew they were there. I'm sure you saw all those films about penguins in Europe who were allowed to visit the zoo when all the humans were at home. They gave the penguins free run of the zoo. And as soon as I saw the penguins, I just thought, Sagittarius, it's a Sagittarius fantasy come true for a Sagittarius penguin. So the Capricorn, you can see that Capricorn dog face, very serious at the bottom, does take life seriously, takes you very seriously and wants to have a job. So whether this is a cat or a dog, they need to know what you'd like them to do because they're here to work, okay? They want to do well. Capricorn dogs love hearing good boy. They love good boy. Even Capricorn cats, and we know how contrary cats are, have a tremendous sense of satisfaction at being the good cat. So this is the dog that you train, and believe it or not, it's also the cat that you can train. This is the cat or dog who is tremendously ambitious to get to the top, and in my experience, they're climbers. So even if you have a very short little dog, the little dog will try to get on the chair, on the table, and then on you because you are the pinnacle of their ambition. They love going higher. The cats will go right to the top of wherever they possibly can. So if you have a step ladder, this is the cat that will try and get on top of the step ladder. Aquarius. Now, the funny thing about this photograph, which I obviously didn't take, some unknown photographer took it, but the Aquarius cat is sizing up the whole group, getting the measure of the group, and that's true of human Aquarians as well. They love to know, what is this group all about? And so an Aquarian cat or dog will automatically go for the entire household, read the household, or the dog in the park. You take your dog for a walk in the park, will relate to the entire pack. They love variety and diversity. They love to see a community of different dogs and cats, all shapes and sizes, and they will stay always a little bit outside it, but feel very much a part of it. So this is the dog that you take to the park who gets all the other dogs going, but is never really immersed in the action. And this is the cat who will take every member of your household, including you, the fish, whatever they can do, and create a kind of a group huddle around itself. And finally, Pisces. These are Pisces eyes. So this dog here is telepathic. Today we're going to look at psychic astrology, psychic animals, psychic pets, and paw reading. And if you do have a Pisces cat or dog, if your cat or dog was born in Pisces season between late February and late March, or was adopted then, the eyes will be basically psychic. So we're looking for deep pools, quite liquid eyes. And this is the dog that knows when his or her owner is coming home. So Rupert Sheldrake, the scientist, has done fantastic research on this, setting up video cameras on dogs at home, and they will anticipate their owner's return, even if the owner is returning at random times, by a good hour or two, getting excited, standing at the window, staring out of the window, waiting. The cats born under Pisces or adopted under Pisces also have this tremendous sense of telepathy with you and will know exactly what's going on in the household without you having to talk to them much. They are very much attuned to changes in routine, and they're also, I call them aquarium cats because they look as if they actually should be fish. They have that kind of distant sort of look in their eyes as if they were underwater or scuba diving, and they do love a fish as well. So that's the whistle-stop tour of the 12 signs of the cat and dog zodiac. I'll be really interested a little bit later on to hear what you've got to say about your animal. I'll hand you back to Gina.
Okay, wonderful. I used to have a cat and I wish I had one now, but what a character. So we're going to go over to Sydney now. Actually, I think Jessica might have been in Sydney. We're going to welcome Paul. Welcome, Paul. These are some of the fantastic books that you've written, and you're going to do for us now a live psychic reading of an owner and a pet, are you not? Do you want to unmute yourself? And I'm going to stop screen sharing so that we can see you. Stop share. If I can find my button. Stop share. Okay, so looking for Paul, and then I can spotlight you, Paul. Add spotlight. Okay, wonderful. Paul, over to you. Yes.
Okay, so you've picked someone that I can have a look at, someone who's got an animal or a pet.
Okay. Should we remove spotlight from there and let me do the group gallery? Okay, who would like to have their dog or cat? We've got Georgina waving. So Georgina, I'm going to choose you. I'm going to unmute you as well, so you can tell us, Georgina, you can tell us what you've asked to unmute. Okay, you're walking. Okay. So, okay, so can you unmute, Georgina, and tell us where you are and what your pet name is, and then I'm going to hand over to Paul.
This is Charlie Brown. She's a German short-haired pointer, and she's nearly 4. She's Cancerian, and we live in Bournemouth in the UK.
Okay. Am I able to see the animal for a moment?
Can you see her?
No, I can't see on screen.
Gina, I think we will all
Excuse me, I need to pin each other. Excuse me, let me do that. Add spotlight. Beg your pardon.
There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. That's lovely. Okay, so you said she's about 4?
She's going to be 4 on June the 24th.
Okay, so first thing I get is someone very curious, quick in movement, loves being out hunting for things. The feeling here is looking for things, looking for anything. And it's weird. It's a strange combination because loves independence, being out and about, however, is always keeping an awareness of where you are regards to where she is. So this is not an animal that disappears and comes back. If you're out walking somewhere, it's always got an eye on you so that it can come back if needed, you know? So there's like a sensitivity and an awareness with this one. Now, in the early life of this animal, there was another animal that was close to it, another dog. That dog's not there anymore. So was there another dog in the household, or was it a neighbour's dog? It just feels like in the first year or two, and now that dog's gone away.
When we picked her up, there was another puppy with her. But we've had her on our own ever since.
Yeah, okay. Because I just feel like there's memories of another dog, and the memories are fading down now. It's not that recent. Yeah, okay. This dog's good. I feel like this one's it's funny. It's just I get a sense of a stubborn independence there, and yet an appearance of I'm getting along with everybody. But this is an animal that wants to do what it wants to do, you know. And it's good. It's good. I like that because it looks like it's blending in with everybody, and yet it's free to slip out and do what it needs to do when no one's watching. You know, it's nice. I just get a sense of a lot of energy. So, I mean, I'm not seeing it when I look at the dog now, but is this a dog that needs some walking every day, some exercise, just get the feeling there's this bouncy energy there?
Yeah, she's got lots of energy. She loves running on the beach.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have to be careful she doesn't run off after deer and rabbits and squirrels.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because I just feel like burning off that energy every day or every few days is really good for this dog. It's really, you know, this is not a dog for an apartment all the time, you know, unless they can get out and be free from time to time. Just that quickness. I just feel from 0 to 60 kilometers an hour is very quick for this one, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So much power.
Yeah. Now I feel like there are 3 people in the environment that this dog's close to, and it's close to them in different ways. So it's you and is it a partner and another person, or is there 2 children, or I just feel like 3 people around this dog?
My husband, and then we've got 4 children, but they're not all around us all the time. And
okay,
could be Derek down below. There's an old man that she loves that is
okay, that would probably be it. Yeah, because I felt it was 2 males. It was 2 males and you know, and this animal knows how to work the room when it needs to, you know, to get what it wants. This is good. It's got good people skills in lots of ways. Yeah,
she's a gorgeous dog. Very lovely.
Do you have a specific question about this animal?
No, I think I know how she feels. She's just really happy. She feels
yeah. Content. This is a dog that's got a very good life, and somehow it knows it. So when you picked it up, was it still with its original brothers and sisters, or was it in a pound or somewhere else?
It was with another little puppy, and it had its mother and father there.
Yeah, okay, because I just wonder why this dog knows that it's living a good life, you know. Just sometimes that happens when a dog's had a difficult start and now it's better. I just feel like this dog is absolutely aware that life couldn't be better than it is. You know? That's good. Just one thing though, if I scan through the body, I'm seeing a little bit of issue with the lungs. So I'm just thinking in later years, this is an animal that's going to need to be by the fire, not away from it, you know, somewhere warm.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, this is fine. I think this is a dog that's very happy with its environment, and I'm thinking you're making this environment, making it happy too. It's great. It's good to see.
We call her Charlie, even though she's a girl, Charlie Brown.
Got it. Yeah.
She's very happy.
Lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
Paul, do you want to do a second one? Jessica, do we have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a second one.
Do you want, I mean, you would have a particular question? I'm going to unpin here, remove spotlight. I'm going to go back to the gallery, and seeing, I don't know whether there's, do you want to take on a dog that might be unwell, or just somebody whose hand comes up?
I don't mind that if that's okay with the owner.
Does anybody have a question about their animal that they would like to ask through Paul? Emma's put her hand up. So okay. I'm going to pin Emma. Emma, welcome.
Thank you.
Have you got your pet there? Okay, let me pin you. Right, replace pin, add spotlight. Okay, there you are, both of you.
Okay.
So Emma's getting her animal. Let's have a
look.
look.
On the floor.
Oh, wow. This is great. Okay.
She's 10.
Okay. How old?
10.
10, okay. And what's the name?
Lily.
Lily, okay.
She's a collie crossed with a Springer.
Yeah, okay.
It's
a very regal look, isn't it?
She has actually.
It has that very regal. It's almost like you'd expect a tuxedo and be framed on a wall somewhere above an old fireplace. Okay. So I feel like this one gets a little bit anxious sometimes.
She gets very anxious, and I worry about her.
yeah, she worries about everybody else. I feel like this one's quite intuitive. It's actually, this is the actual, the perfect time to talk about this, because reads the energy of the people in the room, and when someone's upset, this one will feel it. You know?
Oh gosh,
and,
yes.
Yeah. So basically, you're going to need to be good spirits around her, or give her some space to work it off in some way. You know, I just feel like intelligent, very sensitive, and also it feels like watchful, like somehow when everyone's asleep, this one's looking around, making sure everything's stable, everything's safe. You know, you feel like you're being watched over. Do you know what I mean? And it must be a nice, safe feeling there. I just feel like this one's been through a couple of difficulties in her life, and that's where the anxiety comes from. You know,
we took on this one. That's the beagle. When he was 2, and it was really difficult for her. She'd had her as a pup. They're the same age. We'd had her as a puppy for 2 years, and we brought the beagles just come and sat on there.
Yeah, because I could feel like there's a feeling here of I want to be belong to someone in particular, not to be shared. So the Lily's got that feeling like I want to be special. I want to be reassured. In other words, you know, and you see with children too. First child, second child arrives. First child gets insecure. You know, and
also,
yeah.
Sorry. Also, we had a family breakup, as in I got divorced, and it's honestly she suffers more than the children, I think.
Yeah, because that's the two things. I knew there were two things there.
That's why I said.
You know? And was she close to your former partner?
This one just gets in the way. Yes. Well, we were all close. We were a really close family, considering what happened. We still are, actually. So I think that's really hard for her, and she goes between us. It's literally like the children going between the parents, you know.
Yeah. So it's just an anxious nature, and I feel like this is a dog that gets reassured by routines.
Okay.
You know? Whereas the other one, the one I've got on screen now, I can see no worry there. This one's like, I want to explore everything, I want to do everything I can. You know, there's no anxiety with the second dog, you know. So they're pretty extreme, these two, aren't they?
Yeah. No, that's really good. Thank you. I just worry about her because I can tell she's anxious, and it's like I try and give a bit of variety to her because obviously she's a bright dog as well. So, but I just sometimes I think, oh no, I don't know. Am I not doing enough? What else can I do?
I just think some silence, holding her, being with her to reassure her. She needs that touch and that feeling like you're mine. The rest don't count. It's you and me. She needs that.
Okay, get this one out of the way. That's brilliant. Thank you.
I hope it's been of some help.
No, it's lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Emma. I'm just going to unpin. Thanks, Paul. We in our spotlight. So, Paul, we're going to move on to Jessica reading some paws, and maybe we'll get some time to come back with you. But thank you. That was it's eye-opening, really. Lovely to see those beautiful dogs. So now I'm going to. What am I going to do? Jessica, invite you back now then. Jessica, add the spotlight. Paul, remove. Excuse me for doing all this. Remove spotlight. Now, I'm going to screen share for a moment. You're going to do 3 readings, aren't you, on paws that we already got on the screen. So let me just bring up my screen share. Okay, I'm very ambidextrous here. Okay, so play. Can you see?
I can, and that looks like Daisy's paw to me. I thought that was,
yeah.
Yes, this looks like Daisy. So some of you have sent in, who can't attend because of your time differences, photographs of your cat or dog's paw. And Paul was brilliantly picking up there on the relationships that can go on in a family or a household between the dogs and the people. If you're at home now and you look at your cat or dog's leading right paw, okay, if they'll let you, then the toes are a tremendous giveaway, and we can palm read and paw read in much the same way, really. And when you have an animal that spends a lot of time on its feet, you tend to get a lot of cracks and marks on the toes. And sometimes you will see initials. And if you look carefully, you can see that Daisy has D for Daisy in her main paw pad. Just in the center of her leading paw pad there, she's managed to carve out the letter D. So she's actually given herself a nice little monogram there. Sometimes you'll see the letters of, or the initials of family members, or something else that's important to the animal. And sometimes you'll see a number. So I can also see the number 4 here. So 4 is significant to Daisy, as well as D, which is the beginning of her own name. Now, the other thing about animal paws is that, like our own hands, you can take this in a very basic way. The first toe or finger is fire, so it's Aries, or it's Leo or Sagittarius. And the second toe or finger is Earth, so it's Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. The third one, we're going up to the air sign, so it's Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And the fourth toe or finger on the lead hand or the lead paw is water, so it's Pisces, Scorpio, or it's Cancer. Now, when you're reading a dog or cat, if you look for the toe, they call it toe bean in America, which is hilarious. But if you look for the toe, which is blotchy or splodgy or bigger or more noticeable, it stands out on the general paw because it might be a bit wonky, that is the lead element. And it's the same with your hand. You can do it for yourself. So I use my paw as an example. You can see that my second finger is bigger than the rest, and it's a bit wonky. It's sort of leaning like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And that in Pawmistry and also Pawmistry is the second group of elements. So it's going to be Earth. So it's Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And I do in fact have quite an earthy chart. So I'll run through the elements for you if you're looking at your fingers or your paws right now. So fire is really what it sounds like. It warms things up, it heats things up. It makes everything get going. It can be too hot to handle. So if you have a fire dominant paw or palm, you may have a hot temper, or your dog or cat may be too quick to react and respond sometimes, too hot. And they may actually get physically too hot as well. And if it's the second finger or the second toe that's prominent or a bit splotchy, bigger or maybe misshapen, it stands out in some way, then you're looking at a creature or a human who needs to have their paws or feet on the ground. They need to know nature really well. So it can be quite hard for a cat or a dog living in a flat or an apartment. They need to be on grass. And the people who have Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn dominant, no matter what your actual chart looks like, also have that tremendous need to know where they stand. They don't like a lot of upheaval, and they don't like a lot of change. Too much change makes them very unsettled. They're very dependable, reliable, and they're plodders. So the people and the animals tend to plod, and they walk like this. Quite hard to move as well. So if you have a dog or a cat who's Taurus prominent, you know, when they're standing on the dining table, or they've managed to leap up onto the kitchen bench, they will not move. You say get off, they don't want to get off. So the third group, the third paw or finger, is air. Okay, so Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And this is chatty. This is the chatty catty. This is the one who talks to you. And it's the dog who, it's a bit like Lassie, you have to sort of translate or decode. What are you trying to say, Lassie? You know, or it's a bit like Skippy the bush kangaroo, who is forever trying to get onto the helicopter radio to ask for help. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, people or types in cat and dog world want to be heard, want to be understood, want to get through, want to connect, want to communicate, have to. And this is a dog, and I sometimes see dogs with muzzles, and I think, my God, if I could see its paw, I hope this isn't an air sign type, because they need to breathe and they need to talk. Okay, so the fourth, on the hand or the paw, we've gone Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and now we're on to Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, water element. And again, it doesn't matter what your chart looks like. This might be your dominant element. So this is emotional. This is about feelings. And sometimes you have that tremendous sort of emotional response in the cat or the dog, even to a television program. So the whole family will be sitting down to watch a drama, you know, and all the humans will be reaching for the tissues, you know, or a sad occasion. And the dog or the cat who's water dominant will be right in front of the television, also feeling all the feelings along with you. They're tremendously sensitive. They don't like loud noise, and they really don't like being shouted at. So be careful how you go. And that goes for the humans as well. So that's a little bit of a tour. We'll go on to the second paw. So I have here Ellie there. So this is a beautiful paw. Okay, so Ellie is a romantic, okay? Ellie believes that she is in a film like Gone with the Wind. She really wants to have Romeo to her Juliet. So Ellie loves to bond with another animal or human. And if she can't do that, she will marry a soft toy, okay, and treat the soft toy as her hero. It's exactly what you might expect. She's soft. She looks soft. She is very soft. There's also a question here about Ellie and having kittens, you know, because animals feel it too. And she feels very strongly that she could have kittens or should have kittens. So it can be quite hard for a cat sometimes to be put out of the family way just because we have to. And therefore there is a need here for some sort of child substitute or kitten substitute. She may of course have had kittens, but I don't think that's possible in her life. She will need something or somebody to look after. And I think there might be maybe one more animal. Do we have a rescue dog called Zara from Portugal? I love these photos. Now, rescue dogs are extraordinary because the connection between you and them is fated. So we all think that we're going out to randomly look for a dog or a cat, you know, and it's sod's law, but actually there's usually a karmic bond. And it's amazing how often people also have cats or dogs come to them. So this is a fated connection. This dog has a job to do and has found its new owner, and its new owner has found. And what it's really all about is vision. So you can see that this dog looks as if there are kind of pirate patches over both eyes, but there's a strong message here about seeing through appearances. And the dog does that, and the owner does too. The dog has come into the owner's life to enable a period of about 1 or 2 years where it's possible to go beyond the superficial, beyond appearances, beyond faces, and into the heart or the soul. So the family or household that this dog has entered into, there may be somebody with a job that depends upon appearances, or there may be somebody in the house who puts a lot of value on appearances, but this dog is there to tell you it's not about the way that you look. It's about who you are on the inside. And the more that you get to know this animal over time, the more extraordinary you will find the connection. So even though this dog was there being judged by appearances and collected on appearances, possibly because of the great beauty of the face, the karmic mission here is to teach other people to look through.
Oopsie, excuse me. Stop share. Excuse me.
So I've had some fabulous animals, you know, to look at. I think we're sort of ready for a tea break, aren't we, Gina?
Yes, that's, you wanted to have a bit of a break, so we're going to do that for 9-10 minutes. I'm looking at my watch here, 10:41. We could come back in 9 minutes time, 50 to the hour, and then you're going to be talking to Rachel, and then we're going to have some time looking at people's animals paws. So I'll stop the recording, I'll pause it, and we'll see you back in about 9 minutes. Is that okay, everybody?
Thanks, Gina. Brilliant.
Pause recording. Okay, well, welcome back. So now I'm going to screen share to show Rachel's picture, and then we'll spotlight Rachel. So let me just do a quick screen share. I'm multitasking here. How do I screen share screen? Here we go, share. And so this is play. Okay, so this is Rachel Wells, the author, and her cat, Lady Alfie. And I just wanted to show you this, which is Lady Alfie's Instagram page. And there's a picture of, I think, Rachel's latest book, Alfie the Christmas Cat, sitting there next to the Christmas gift from Bob. Obviously, the book's doing really well, and that beautiful cat. So I'm now going to stop sharing so that we can see, stop share. So welcome, Rachel, so that we can see Rachel and spotlight you.
Hi.
Spotlight. Yes?
Gina, are you recording?
I am. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Rachel, welcome. I understand you live in Devon. Welcome to you're talking to Jessica. Lovely.
So you have quite a famous cat, Rachel, with Lady Alfie. She has her own Instagram account. And of course, anybody who owns any of your Alfie books around the world will immediately relate your cat to the books. Does she get any fan mail?
She gets a lot of, you know, really nice comments. Everybody thinks she's beautiful. I mean, she's flattered. She's so flattered. Is this cat?
And is Lady Alfie adopted, or did you buy her?
No, she's adopted.
What was the adoption date, Rachel?
I believe it was the end of October.
So this is a Scorpio cat. For anybody who's listening or watching, the adoption date will give you the animal. And Scorpio is the sign of business. It's the sign of finance. So it's perfect for you that you're on top of this global brand, because I know that Alfie in Japan has merchandising, and you have this animal who is sort of the head of the business empire on Instagram.
Yeah, she seems to think she is, definitely.
She's very low key as well, which is typical of a Scorpio human. If you think about Prince Charles, you know, he's head of all these major charity and business incentives, but he's very low key about it all. And Lady Alfie is relating to this. I can see her sort of blinking, going, yes, do go on. Lady Alfie is also quite sort of laid back about it all, but she is the face of your international brand. I'm going to talk about the tarot in relationship to cats and dogs, and you can do this at home. You can actually do it on my website, even if you don't have a tarot deck, because we have a free tarot deck online. So this is the card that I got for Lady Alfie, and I find this fascinating because it's the star. I mean, there are 78, Paul would understand this because he's a tarot genius, but the star, one of 78 cards, and we get this sort of, in Lady Alfie's mind, she is blonde. She's not a British girl. I think she's blonde, darling. And she really feels that she belongs, you know, in LA. But the other thing that's really interesting about this card is that you can see the stars in the background, very much like the EU flag. So this is a cat who relates to Europe and who is probably big in Europe. Is the Alfie series successful over there?
It is, yeah.
So you can see the EU flag at the top there. It's possible that Lady Alfie was quite upset by Brexit. Do you think that's true?
Well, I mean, I think if she'd been allowed to vote, she would have voted to stay, but I can't be sure.
She could have put her paw on the form.
She would have, yes. I should have done that. I will test that out next time we have a referendum. But she is very European, definitely.
Yes, she looks a bit annoyed at the moment, but like, normally she's low key.
I think that's because she's being talked about.
Oh, okay. Certainly got that Scorpio sort of intensity and emotion. And of course, Scorpio is compatible with Pisces and Cancer. So if you have anybody in the family, yourself or anybody else who's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Lady Alfie will fit in very nicely.
Well, I'm Pisces and my son's Scorpio, so.
Okay.
That's
wow.
I mean, we're literally a Pisces Scorpio family.
You're a very watery family. So yeah, it never rains paws emotionally. The other thing that we can do is we can do a three-way reading. So we've looked at the adoption date, we've looked at the tarot. She thinks she's a star. She is a star. And you can also do the paw. Is it possible to persuade Lady Alfie to hold her paw up to the screen?
Come on, sweetheart, which paw do you want?
The one that she won't hit you with is a good idea.
Well, I think that's probably, she'll hit me with either of them. Can you see?
Okay. I can get a feel for that. Thank you. Yes, a bit closer to the camera would be great.
Right, let's do it again.
Okay.
Yep. She's hitting me now. She's about to bite me. Don't bite me.
Okay. So as is often the case with a Scorpio cat or dog, the spaying or neutering is a bit of an issue because really, if she was left to her own devices, she would have a lot of kittens and a very active sex life. So you sort of have to, I can see the tail in the corner. It's funny, isn't it? This is typical of astrology. Scorpio is a scorpion, and that is like a scorpion's tail. I'm talking about her sex life, and she's sort of thrashing her tail around in the screen. So I don't know what you're going to do about that. She has to take care of her own needs, shall we say, but she would normally be quite a highly sexed cat. Does she react to tomcats at all?
She doesn't like any other cats, actually.
Really?
No, she hisses at, we have a few coming into our garden and she's like hissing at them to get out. She's quite aggressive. Maybe maybe she's trying to do like that treat them mean, keep them keen thing.
Yeah, keep them mean, keep them keen, keep them dating. It's like that song, you know, all the boys come to my yard.
Yeah, exactly.
For her milkshake.
Exactly that. So maybe that's it.
So do you have any questions that I can ask the tarot for you with the deck, Rachel?
So I just want to know, like, because I feel that she really changed personality when we adopted her. So I'd really just like to know a bit more about that, because I find that fascinating when I write about cats, because you hear it a lot that, you know, she was rehomed and she came from a very different home to us where there were lots of other animals, and now she's sort of queen bee. So I just find it quite fascinating. So I'd love to know a bit more about that.
Why she's changed?
Yeah,
okay.
And if she has changed a lot, and you know, if she's happier now. She's happier.
Sure.
She's definitely
happier now. So reaching for my trusty tarot. The deck that I always use, just in case you're new to tarot, is the Smith-Waite, because they were both trained in astrology. Mm-hmm. And even though it's unusual to do a tarot reading for an animal, you can do a tarot reading for a building, a car, anything at all. So I'm just going to ask the cards about that situation with your star, your Instagram star. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands.
Uh-huh.
So this is your son, actually.
Yeah.
The knight is always a younger man, and here he is, boom, boom, boom. He's quite fast, you know. The Knight of Wands is ready to go, off and running, up and running. And actually it's his energy that affects your cat more than anything else in the home. So the changes to your cat are entirely due to your son. The Knight of Wands isn't really that interested in cats. He's more interested in horses.
That is absolutely spot on about my son. He loves horse riding and he ignores the cat.
Oh, okay. You can sort of see the cat now going, agreeing with you, sort of nodding in the corner.
And whenever he walks into a room, she sort of scatters, you know, because he's quite thud, you know.
Yeah, he's the Knight of Wands.
He's not mean to her, but he's just quite loud.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to. I can see an ear in the corner of the Zoom screen going, yes, that's right. What are you going to do about it? Thanks so much, Rachel. That's brilliant. And we can find you online if you want to, if anybody wants to read the Alfie Cat series. Anybody here who's from Japan will know it already. And okay, I'll hand you back to Gina. Thanks so much.
Yep. I was just looking up that. That's fantastic. Well, now, I mean, you've done a tarot reading for a cat. You've done Pawmistry, and we've had psychic readings. It's an interesting way of you know, getting into tune with our animals. So what you said you do now is talk about the best dates in 2021 to adopt an animal, Jessica. A new moon meditation for April the 12th, which is tonight, tomorrow. Is it tonight in this country, in this hemisphere, tomorrow?
It's Monday the 12th is the new moon in Aries. Okay. But we always count a day before, a day after, because all the time zones have to catch up. But you can sort of see it developing. The moon's coming towards a sliver in the sky, which is a fantastic new beginning, not just for animals, but also for people. And the other thing that I'd like to quickly show you is animal healing. So this is, I hope you can you see that? Okay, this is an animal healer called Elizabeth Whiter, who I came across at the College of Psychic Studies in London. And Elizabeth Whiter is probably, I think, the best animal healer in the United Kingdom, but she can also help with remote healing. So if your animal needs to go to the vet, even if you want to share in healing with your animal, Elizabeth Whiter's website is wonderful. It has samples of all her different meditations, which you can download. And she is extremely gifted with racehorses, but she's also very good at hands-on healing with cats and dogs. And just as a general comment about animal healing, you can do it intuitively. I'm a trained Reiki healer, so I can heal dogs and cats using Reiki, but you can do it at home. So if you feel that your cat or dog needs a bit of help, the laying on of hands is a wonderful, simple method. Don't be frightened to try it. Often the animal will come to you. I had a cat called Henry in Australia, who was my my dear friend of 18 years, and Henry was a ginger Tom, and he was bitten by a snake. The snake bit him in the corner of his mouth. So Henry was close to death. He was bitten by what they call the king brown, which Paul would know is one of the most lethal snakes in the country. I rang the vet, and the vet would not come out because it was a Sunday and we lived in the country. So I had to endure my cat going through the night with huge dilated pupils, which is what happens when a snake bites you, with rattling breath. He was gasping for breath. And I honestly didn't know what to do. Eventually, I pulled my mattress into the sitting room near the cat, Henry, just to sleep near him to see him through the night. And then I was woken at about 3 or 4, and he'd put his paws on the edge of the mattress. And he was staring at me with his big eyes. And I went, okay. And I put my hands on him. Well, he made it through to morning. And the good news is that he was given a blood transfusion on Monday morning, as soon as the vet doors opened, and he survived. But most cats die when they're bitten by king brown. So I hadn't trained in Reiki then. It was purely intuitive, but you may know this already. Your cat or dog can be very healing for you, and you can certainly heal your cat or dog. But Elizabeth Whiter, I've just put a little note on my website at jessicaadams.com about her work and a link to her work. So if you want to adopt this year, the golden rule is that you find a time when the sun is in your element, when you are in your element, and the animal is also in your element. So if you're a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, you adopt when the sun is in those signs, and one look around the internet and you'll know when that is. If you're an earth sign, if you're Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, you adopt when the animal is in its element. So when the sun is in Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, when the sun is in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, and you are an air sign, then you go adopting. And finally, if you're a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, when the sun is in those signs, that's when you go on the search. The old phrase, in your element, is actually about astrology. The elements work really well with animals for some reason. I think because animals are so fundamental to nature. So the old rules about the elements, earth, air, fire, and water, work really well for them. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to do is talk about the new moon. Now, a lot of people in astrology get excited about every single new moon that we ever have. Not every new moon is important or relevant or particularly useful, but the one that we're having on Monday, the 12th of April, is profoundly important. So it would be wonderful if you can find a candle or maybe buy a candle. I went shopping today in Sydney. I haven't been in Sydney for a year, and found myself a nice candle, and I'll be lighting that tomorrow, Monday, the 12th of April. This new moon is part of a pattern in your horoscope, in your life, which has been going on since 2011, which is all about self-promotion, presentation, packaging, your appearance, your wardrobe, your face, your hair. It's in Aries. So it's actually about the face, but it's also about the name. So if you have anything that you want to pursue that's relevant to that, so you might be wanting to launch a business, or you may be wanting to go on a date with somebody, and it pulls in that emphasis on your promotion or your self-promotion. Maybe if you just want to get healthier, so you want to lose weight or give up smoking, that new moon is fantastic. And the results will go on for years and years and years, because we're going to see a tremendous number of cycles in the sign of Aries. It's not just the new moon. So I'm not really into rituals, but I do believe in lighting a candle on a new moon and setting an intention. And the other thing that you can do is create a Pinterest board for yourself. So if you're not already on Pinterest, if you go to pinterest.com, you can create a vision board, borrowing from images right around the internet to create a strong, clear picture of what you're going for. So if you do have something that's directly appearance related, if you're after a new job, maybe you want a different title. If you want to get together with somebody, get married, you want to change your name, then that new moon is a really good time to set intentions.
And Josie,
Okay.
you mentioned about the power of the image there. So
Yeah.
as an example, would you, if you're thinking about updating your LinkedIn or Facebook profile and change the picture, this would be the most powerful time to do it. It's going to have
Yes.
more power, is that right?
Yes, the sun and the moon, this is very old astrology. The sun is how you shine, and the moon is how you connect, how you need to be needed. And when there's a new moon, they're in a marriage, they're conjunct. The old alchemists would say that they were in conjunctio. It's like a birth, it's the birth of something new. If you do have anything in Aries in your horoscope, then that house of your chart will be triggered. In general, a new moon is something that they probably knew about at Stonehenge. So we're talking 7,000 or 8,000 years ago. It's used, of course, right through the pagan community, but you'll also find it in churches. So when we're all allowed out again in London, you'll find it in the crypt at St. Paul's Cathedral. The new moon is an important sign in Freemasonry, and the new moon is exactly what it sounds like. It's a new beginning. So if you go with it and you're conscious of it and you use it, the other thing that often happens is you set your intention and then you find that the universe meets you halfway. So Monday, Tuesday, a few little signs and pathways opening up there.
And what's the window for this activity for writing these and putting them on Pinterest? Is it a few hours, or is it the 24 hours either side, Sunday, Monday into Tuesday? Is that the window?
Yes, because we live in a 24-hour society now, and it's, we're all so connected with everybody else on different time zones. I always allow a day before, a day after. So say Sunday in Australia now, Monday in England, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, wherever you are in the world, that's the new moon window.
Wonderful.
If you want to get it absolutely right, you'll find that on Twitter at the appointed hour, a lot of astrologers will just go madly tweeting with the hashtag new moon where you are.
Good to know. And just before we move back on to talking about the pets, what's so special about this new moon on this the 11th, 12th?
Well, it's in Aries, and you've had about 7 or 8 years of the planet Uranus in Aries between 2010 and 2018. So you've been through a revolution in one area of your life where everything changed quite radically, where there was quite a lot of rejection, okay? You were saying no to people, you were having no said to you, and it was very unstable and very disrupted. After that, you went into the Chiron in Aries cycle, when that area of your life became an experiment. I'll go into the 12 areas of life in a moment. And now you're coming out of that Chiron in Aries cycle very slowly, moving towards the transits of Jupiter in Aries and Saturn in Aries and eventually Neptune in Aries, and that takes you past 2030. So if you're in Aries, it has been about your reputation and your personal appearance. So even the most trivial details of your appearance, whether it's your hair or your weight, issues about your reputational name have been terribly important. And if you're a Taurus, it's been about your religion or your struggle to accept your God, maybe your religious upbringing as a child or as a teenager. It's been about astrology, psychology, psychiatry, dream interpretation, the tarot, meditation. It's been about the inner self. In the Middle Ages, they would have said it was about your relationship with God. And if you're a Gemini, it's about your friendships. It's been about the social media that you're involved with and the groups that you belong to, and particular friends, old friends or new friends, or friends who you might call frenemies, or friendships that have just gone. And if you're born under the sign of Cancer, it's about success. So it's about your ambition, your position and your mission. It's about your relationship with your career, your unpaid work, and your own definition of what it means to be a success, because other people's idea of what is successful may not be yours any longer. And if you're a Leo, it's been about travel or travel in the mind. So ever since this cycle began in Aries with Uranus in 2010, 2011, just seeing the world has dramatically changed the world and you. But increasingly, because of COVID, the traveling is being done within. So it's really about exploring the world through your own mind. And if you're a Virgo, this transit has been through your 8th house in your solar chart, which is about your inheritance and your will, your legacy, what you leave to other people and what is left to you. It's about the big stuff. It's about houses and apartments and business and charity. It's also very much about marriage and mortgage for so many Virgo people. And it's about understanding that the disruption of the last few years is now there to be recreated. It's almost like raw clay to work with. And if you're a Libran, it's been about your former, current or potential partners, plural. Some of you have been right through this cycle within one marriage or within one business partnership. Other Librans have been through it with different duets or duels. But out of that sense of that was then, this is now, you're coming towards a new moon when you can set new intentions for the future. And you can deal with the imbalance of the scales in your life with you on one side and him or her on the other. You can finally come to terms with that. Now, if you're a Scorpio, it's been about your service and duty to other people, including your dog or cat, but also the housework, your unpaid work, your duty statement, your paid work, and the relationship between your physical and mental health and the work that you do. So what you've learned is that there's a very fine balance with all of that, and that the job or the unpaid work and how you feel physically, how you function as a creature for your doctor or your therapist is related to how you feel about the job that you do or the work that you have to do. If you're born under the sign of, we've done Virgo and Libra, Scorpio, the Scorpion, then this transit through Aries, sorry, I've just done Scorpio, this transit was about the 6th house. If you're Sagittarian, then this transit through Aries has been about your son or daughter, your godchildren, your nieces or nephews or grandchildren. It's been about the world of children, teenagers and young adults. You might mentor or teach or guide them. You might have had issues about fertility, pregnancy, unwanted, unplanned pregnancy or IVF. Or you may have been dating people who have children from another relationship. Your own son or daughter may have taken you on that quite unstable journey. If you're a Capricorn, then this transit right through the sign of Aries has been about the family. So your mother's side or your father's side, but also the family that you might have married into. And it's very much about the house or the apartment situation as a metaphor for what's been going on with the relatives, with the family tree. So all the issues that you've had with something as simple as the kitchen or the bedroom, landlords, the local area, the actual look or feel of the house or the apartment has been a symbolic representation of the complete restructuring of one side of the family. That restructuring goes on, especially at the moment. If you're an Aquarian, then this transit has been about the internet. It's been about the World Wide Web and every corner of it, from YouTube to Zoom. It's also been about television, radio, obviously publishing, education and academia, information flow. And for you, the challenge has been how to master the message, master the medium for the message, but also to understand that you have to believe what you're telling people, because what you're telling people is incredibly persuasive. So there's no point in being very good at communication or very good at social media. You actually have to be with the message and be on message. If you're a Pisces, then this transit through the sign of Aries has been about everything that you own, earn or owe. It's about money, apartments, houses, business or charity, but it's also about possessions. But underneath all that, it's been about your values, what you will or will not sell your soul for, and also who or what you consider to be priceless, because you've been educated in what your bottom line is. And that story continues in April, which is very much about your money. So that's the 12 signs of the zodiac expressed through the solar chart. If you do have anything in Aries in your natal or birth chart, then this entire cycle for you has been about your head on the internet, how people judge you, your face, your name, and the tremendous importance of something as superficial as your surface, because it does so much for your substance. That's what the story's been for you as well, if you have anything in Aries in your chart.
Wonderful tour de force around the zodiac there. Thank you. Do we have some time, Jessica, to see? We've got a question here on the chat I'm going to ask you. And do we have some time to look at a couple of animals? Would that be okay? So, folks, I'm going to ask this question, and then if we don't get to your cat or dog and you want to have a question, then we're going to work out how you can do that and send it in either via Twitter or the website. Joy has a question about living with and caring for bees or fish. Now, this is interesting. Do the dates of adoption apply to the group as with single animals, or am I looking for certain seasons or approaches? So I thought that's an unusual question.
Absolutely. The thing about astrology is you can have a chart or a sign for anything. A house, so if you move into a house, a relationship, so if you begin a new relationship, make sure you remember the date, because your relationship will have a birth sign and the relationship will respond to the cycles as much as a fish. Now, fish consciousness is very, very powerful, because they respond to what their brothers and sisters are doing in the ocean, even if they're in a tank. They're on the same rhythms. So they actually respond to the collective. So fish are an interesting barometer of what's going on in the wider world. And if you live with them and you watch them a lot, you may notice that earth changes or nature changes are something that they pick up in quite a sensitive way. Never having had a fish, I've never studied it myself. I've looked after them. But they seem to respond to octopus, for example, are psychic. You will remember that it took an octopus to predict the World Cup. So Paul, or Paul, as the Germans called him, was extraordinary. And it was a bit of a joke at the time, but the fact is he did better than the experts. So we underestimate the ocean at our peril, I think.
Okay, so to do a reading of you want to see somebody's paw, some animal's paw? Is anybody?
The animal's whole face would be good.
The whole face.
If you can get them in the box.
Who? Maria's waving. The animal face. Maria? I've got to unmute you, haven't you? Oh, you unmute yourself. Okay, Maria.
Just a second, because it's not very...
coming up. Going to spotlight you.
There you go.
Oh.
He's Ted. His date of birth is 22nd July 2012, babe. Yes.
So the 22nd of July?
Yes, 2012.
Okay, so these animals, Paul will be picking up so much about your animal as well. They often know when you're talking about them, don't they? And there's a bit of awareness here going on. It's like, oh, this is new. This has never happened before. Here we have a dog who is very sensitive to fairness and also unfairness within the household and also in the dog's own life. So what the dog's actually doing here is laying its paws out in almost the Libra symbol, which is the scales of fairness, balance, and justice and symmetry. So although your dog is a Cancerian, if you were to do the whole chart, there'd be quite a lot of Libra there. And there is a great need here for everything to be fair and square. If there is anything in the family or in the family's career, for example, or finances, which the dog picks up is out of balance, then the dog will also be out of balance. So it's nice to have symmetry, harmony, and balance, both for this animal and both for yourselves around this animal.
Yes, I am a Libra, so my partner is a Taurus.
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
I am a Libra. My
Yes,
partner is a Taurus.
Okay, so you're the Libra, and what your dog is doing is mirroring your basic mission on Earth, which is to have everything fair and square. So I love the way that sort of listening going on here is, and it's going to be an interesting journey for both of you, because you have ongoing questions about fairness and justice and balance with your former, current, or potential partners. Okay, so not just in love and marriage, but also in work and business, other kinds of duets. There are big questions about the scales being balanced, and your dog will tune into that, you know. And because of the cycles that you've been going through and the cycles that you are going through as a Libran, you have to do an awful lot of recalibration of the scale. So it's almost like an experiment where you're getting it this side, that side, this side, that side, but your dog will help you.
That's brilliant. Thank you very, very much.
It's a pleasure, Maria.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's just relaxed.
Okay, anybody else? Pause.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Maria. Anybody else? Julie's got a question. Unmute yourself, Julie. I'll spotlight you.
Yeah, hi. We got our rescue dog on the 1st of December last year. We believe his birthday was about the 10th or the 11th of March last year. He's taken an awful long time to settle, and I can kind of tune into him a bit, but I don't know his backstory. So I've got to a limit as to how much I can help him. There's still a few odd behaviours that trigger him, but I can't quite get to the bottom of yet. Is it just a case of time and he'll reveal them, or will I never know?
Can we get your animal?
It's
And
curled up asleep at the moment. I don't know if I can. Ollie, come here. Come here, sweetheart. There. Oh, he's just running off. Sit down, good boy. You're gonna wait there. You're gonna stay there. Good boy. Is that any good?
You see, Jessica?
Can you see him okay? There, he's gone now.
It looks like it looks like we lost connection with Jessica. Maybe Paul could.
Yeah.
Maybe Paul could step in. Maybe Paul could step in and.
Gallery. Paul, do you want to unmute? Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, he's run away now. I can't bring him back.
Okay. Well, I also get this animal was about 10 months old when you first got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. No one owned him before you?
No, he was from a compound. He was found on the streets at a few months old.
Okay.
He came over from Italy. He went to his proper family for about 4 hours and they didn't want him anymore. So he came to us as an emergency foster, but he's been here ever since.
Can I ask you how he is with men, with strange men? Because this one's been told he's bad. He's told he's wrong, he's naughty, he's bad. And he really, he's trying to be good. Do you know what I mean? Like reading the room of what have I done wrong? There's a feeling of natural guilt and insecurity there. And it's from someone, I think someone was a bit inconsistent when he was growing up, you know, in those first few months. And that's hurt him a bit. So have you noticed he warms up to women more than men a bit faster?
Kind of. He's more needy around my partner. He is more approval seeking through him. He comes to me for comfort, but he's very much kind of, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of blame or inconsistency there. And I feel like if your partner's a stable partner, he'll learn to get past that. He'll learn that was only that person. It wasn't all men, you know. So I see a bit of anxiety with this one as well. And it's funny, likes nature, but not to run as much. You know, like this is someone who needs to be outside. If I can view outside, I feel better. I don't have to run outside. I just need to view outside. You know?
Yeah, he does like to be out.
Yeah, and that's nice. But there's another side to him too. It's just funny. I want to be free and outside, but I want to be close to you. Yeah. There's a bit of a what are you doing? Where are you going? You know, as if I'm going to be left behind. You know. Yeah. And you forget me. And I think that will only be a matter of time before he realizes actually she's not going to forget me.
Okay.
You know?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Back in. Okay. Well, we were due to finish at 11:15. We've lost Jessica, but if there
I'm back.
Oh,
sorry.
You're back again. Okay.
Thanks, Paul. I was hoping that you'd fill in. I should explain. I'm in a haunted hotel. So anyway, I'm back. But thank you so much for filling. I'm sure you got a great reading there, Julie.
That was
I did. Thank you.
That was fabulous. So if there was urgency, we could do one more reading. We're over time, or we could begin our close.
I'd love to hear Paul do another reading. I love hearing his work. Brilliant psychic.
Does anybody have an animal they would love to dialogue with that they're not already dialoguing with and would like an answer to that Paul may be assisting with? Anybody have that? Looking.
Actually, maybe Paul can give me a reading, Gina, because I would like to get an animal of some description, a cat or a dog. I'm even thinking about a goat or a rabbit.
Wow.
I'm throwing this at you, I know, but I feel the need for some oxytocin in my life, which they call the cuddle chemical, because you know how we're not allowed to touch anybody, and I'm there in Tasmania at the bottom of the earth. So until I get a new boyfriend, I'd like to know, what should I get? A goat, a dog? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm just thinking, because you've got the background in astrology, you know the goats are very independent. They're not going to need you for anything, you know. We don't need to be any closer. You're great over there, thanks. You know, that sort of thing. We've got a cat like that. One expression, not a toy. That's what she says. You know, and so if you pick her up, just like when you're going to put me down, I'm going to bite you immediately. You know, Now I'm wondering, because I've got an animal that's a little bit similar to the last one I was looking at. No, the one before that you were reading for. There's a delicate, I looked at that animal and I thought dancer. There's a dancer's movement. So do you have a love of fluidity and movement with an animal?
Yes, I love music. I'm working a lot with music at the moment, so yes.
Okay, so that either means a cat or it means a dog with, like you get with the French poodles and that sort of thing. They got that lamb spring and the delicate movement, you know. And I can't think of other ones. Afghan hounds have it to some degree and that sort of thing, where there's just almost like you could expect them to be in a ballet, you know. And there's just a gracefulness of movement. There's also a feeling here of you picking an animal that likes to spend time with you, but likes its own time alone. So when you get into writing or focusing on your work, do you just zoom out from everybody else and you're just focused? And it's almost like I need absolute stillness so that I can focus on this. And I feel like you're going to be having an animal that does the same thing. You're working over there, I'm sleeping over here during the daytime, that sort of thing. I think it's more a dog likely than a cat or any of the other things. And you travel quite a bit though, don't you? So you move around a little bit. So I'm wondering who will look after it? Will the animal come with you when you move, or will you leave it with someone? Yes,
that's a big question, because I'm thinking of buying a boat. So a goat would obviously be unsuitable for the boat.
And I can't imagine a rabbit staying on a boat for long.
No,
yeah. So wow, that's tricky. So a dog that likes boats, that likes sailing. Wow, you're going to be cutting the cards on that one. Yeah. So because what I'm seeing is I could see you writing with a garden, like a courtyard garden outside the window. It's not a huge garden, but some green, dogs on a sofa, all to itself, asleep in the corner, and it looks like a delicate tall dog. So we're coming back to things like Afghan hound or something with a long fur, but a frail dog inside the long fur.
Amazing. You've completely seen my garden, and even though I know Paul professionally, he genuinely has no idea that I live on a huge property. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Brilliant.
Wonderful. What an interesting session we've had. So Jessica, you mentioned about Alicia, was that right, her name? To send her, was it Alicia, to send her a picture of the animal's paw, is that correct? Because
yes, so Alicia Fulton is here with us in Bondi Beach.
Yep.
Oh, hello, Alicia. So I shared your email with everyone.
Yeah, which is great. I'd love to see the pictures, and I can share those with Jessica. That's fine. So
fantastic. Thank you. I did not notice. Great. So if you want to send in the picture, then now that we're out of time, Jessica could do that reading. So I think it just remains to say, wow, what a fun morning. Have you all enjoyed it?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Paul, thank you so much, especially for stepping in. That was great. Jessica, that was great. And we've got some human information as well about the new moon. I hope everybody's fired up for the next 48, 72 hours to really think and rethink about the intentions that you have. I've been doing intentions work with Lynn McTaggart, and it's so powerful. So when you arrive at a powerful time as well, it puts things on steroids. So I do encourage you. And that was a great idea to do things on Pinterest as well, because we are visual. Words are important, and so is the visual. And it's lovely to know that we can do tarot readings for bees, and fish and all that. The world's our oyster, isn't it, of what we can do in terms of reading palms and paws, tuning in, asking the question, doing a tarot reading for an animal. Lovely. Thank you so much. It's great.
Thanks, Gina. Thank you so much, Gina, for hosting, and to Judy and the Conscious Cafe for hosting. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I've absolutely loved it. Never done it before. We'll do it again.
Never worked with children and animals, but we worked, and it worked, didn't it? It was great. Yeah. Thank you. We've got some great events coming up. Judy, what's our next one? Do we have it with Malcolm? What's our next one? Oh, no, I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you, it's an event with Judy. Judy is one of the most eminent publishers, has been one of the most eminent publishers of all sorts of books, particularly personal development and spiritual books. On your bookcase, I'm sure you've got the logo with the 4 Ps. I first met Judy in the, in the early 90s when my feng shui authors and my feng shui school were all published by Judy. And I will be talking to Judy about her new book, Ahead of Her Time, groundbreaking work through the last at least 40 years. And that will be, is it the 17th, Judy, that we're going to be talking?
I've got to check as well. It is lunchtime in London, Wednesday the 21st, from 1 o'clock to 2:15.
Yeah, I know that Caroline from York, you will know the authors that were in Judy's stable of authors and her groundbreaking work. And Judy's done so many inspiring things, so we're going to hear about that then. That's very exciting. In 10 days, Judy was sharing about being on one side of the question, or the boundaries, it were, being the publisher and feeling the stress of being the published author at the moment, and all the work that authors have to do. She knows what a publisher has to do. You've been finding out about that. That's great. And then, Judy, what else have we got coming up?
In March, we've got a 3-part workshop, which is with Malcolm Stern, who originated Alternatives, which is the best known spiritual organization in the UK, and it will be about finding and creating your tribe. And it's interesting because that's one of the issues that Jessica pointed out is particularly relevant at the moment. Who is going to be in your life now? Who are the friends that you've got the most in common with? And where will you meet the new friends? And how will you connect with them? So I definitely recommend Malcolm on the topic. He is brilliant at group work, and it's going to be a very good course on 3 evenings during May. And on the 1st of June, we've got Dr. Dina Glauberman, who tells us how to create images. And have a look on our website, www.consciouscafe.org. We're already getting a lot of people registering for both of those events. And we look forward to seeing you at our local groups and to seeing you all again soon. So have a look at what we're offering. Everybody's welcome. www.consciouscafe.org. Lovely to see you all here today.
You can unmute and say bye. Thank you. Thank you, Paul, Jessica.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Peace through.
Yeah, lovely. That was fun. Great. Jessica's gone.